हेलो गाइस।
वेलकम टू पाकिस्तानी रियल रिएक्शन। तो कैसे हैं आप सब? उम्मीद है आप सब बढ़िया होंगे और मजे में होंगे। मेरा नाम है मुद्दसर।
मैं हूं मुबशिर। सो गाइस, दिस इज हाउ इंडिया वाइप्ड आउट चाइनीज $1 ट्रिलियन इन्वेस्टमेंट इन इंडियन ओशन।
इंडियन ओशन में
मतलब इस तरीके से
ट्रिलियन ऑफ डॉलर की
ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर की इन्वेस्टमेंट इंडियन ओशन में कर रहा था चाइना। भारत
खत्म
ने
कर दिए,
इस तरीके से उसकी सारी इन्वेस्टमेंट को मतलब
खत्म कर दिया
एल
एक
लगा
किस्म
दी
के।
उसके।
हाँ,
तो भाई क्या हुआ है सारा कुछ आज इंडिया का मास्टर प्लान देखेंगे तो स्टार्ट।
Use headphones for the best experience.
वो मुख्तलिफ
Just
तरीकों से कर रहा
58
था ना।
kilometers
हाँ
north
भाई।
of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands, there is one small and super quiet island. Its name is Coco Island. Officially, Myanmar owns it. But recently, new satellite photos came out. They showed something shocking. The old runway was only 1,400 meters long and made of dirt. Now it is fully rebuilt. It is now 2,300 meters long and made of strong concrete. This new runway is big enough for fighter jets like J-10, big transport planes like Y-8,
कोको आइलैंड
and
ना?
even early warning planes like KJ-500 to land and fly easily. On top of that, a brand new powerful radar has appeared on the north hill of the island. This is an over-the-horizon radar. It can see 500 to 600 kilometers deep into Indian airspace and into the shipping lanes of the Indian Ocean. Now stop and think for a second. The population of Coco Island is less than 1,000 people. There are no commercial flights, there is no tourism. So, why does this tiny, forgotten island suddenly need a runway big enough for fighter jets and a super strong military radar? The answer is very simple. China.
चाइना।
Many
चाइना
intelligence
इंडिया की जासूसी
agencies,
के लिए रखा
Indian
है
American and
इस आइलैंड
Japanese,
को। हाँ?
say the same thing.
2,300-meter runway on the Great Coco Island.
Myanmar's army
China
is
बना रहा
upgrading
था।
Coco Island with
म्यांमार
Chinese
से लिया
money,
ना?
Chinese engineers, and Chinese machines. China wants to watch every move of the Indian Navy and Indian Air Force 24 hours a
यहाँ से
day
इंडियन नेवी नजर
from
भी
just
आती है
58
उसको।
kilometers away.
सब
So
रडार
friends,
लगाए
this
हुए
is
हैं।
the real story of the biggest silent war going on right now. The India versus China fight in the Indian Ocean. In this video, we are going to talk about how China is trying to control the most important geopolitical place in the world, the Indian Ocean,
श्रीलंका के
and how
through
India
मतलब
is
इस तरह
fighting
आगे
back
बढ़ने
all
के चक्कर
alone,
में।
taking on
Ah.
China, competing hard, and showing the world who is the real boss in the Indian Ocean.
हाँ।
This is going to
India
be
is
the
there,
most
huh?
eye-opening video you'll watch today. Stay till the end. Before starting the video, a humble request for you guys. It's very
Doesn't
hurtful
include
to
a
see
link
that
in the
93% of our audience didn't subscribe to our channel. If you're enjoying our content, please like, share, and subscribe to our
मतलब
channel
कोको
so
आइलैंड से
YouTube
भारत
recommends
पे
this
इतनी बड़ी
video
नजर रखी
to
हुई है
more
उसने।
people.
तो इंडिया अब इससे कैसे फाइट कर रहा है?
Why is the Indian Ocean so important that two countries with nuclear bombs are quietly fighting for every island and every port? When you hear the simple numbers, your mind will explode. 80% of China's crude oil comes through the Indian Ocean. 90% of
80%.
Japan's oil comes the same way. 95% of South Korea's oil too. 60% of all China's trade passes here. 50% of the world's
China.
containers sail through this ocean. 40% of the world's oil trade moves here. All this huge traffic
Indian Ocean
has to
बहुत
pass through
important
just 3 super narrow gates. These are called choke points. Strait of Malacca, only 2.8
Strait of-
kilometers wide at the narrowest place.
तो इसको ब्लॉक भी
Strait
कर
of
सकता है
Hormuz,
इंडिया।
only 33
Huh?
kilometers wide. Bab el Mandeb, only 29 kilometers wide. If even one of these gates gets blocked for just 10 days, China's factories stop working. Petrol pumps go empty, prices go
भारत
crazy
Strait of Malacca
all
को
over the
block कर
world.
सकता है।
Now, listen to China's biggest nightmare. India sits exactly at the western gate of the Malacca Strait, thanks to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. India has 572 islands in a long chain that stretches 800 kilometers from north to south.
572
From the
आइलैंड है
topmost
इंडिया के
island
पास।
called Landfall Island to the bottom point called Indira Point, India can watch, block, or open the Malacca Strait anytime it wants. In case of war, the Indian Navy and
किसी
Air
भी
Force
time
can
बंद
shut
कर
the
सकते
Malacca
हो।
Strait in just a few hours. China's oil lifeline gets
कुछ
cut.
घंटों में।
In a few weeks, China's whole economy falls down. That is exactly why China is scared to death of India in the Indian Ocean. So, China made
तो
a
डरता
master
है ना वो
plan
चाइना।
called String of Pearls, a circle of ports and bases all around India. Let's see every single pearl one by one.
String of pearls.
Pearl 1 is Chittagong Port in Bangladesh. China invested more than $2 billion under the Belt and Road Initiative. It is also the main naval base of the Bangladesh Navy. A U.S. intelligence report from 2022 says China has secret electronic listening posts here that track Indian Navy movements in the Bay of Bengal. Pearl 2 is Kyeokphu Port in Myanmar. It's a $7.3 billion Chinese project. It has a deep-sea port, a special economic zone, and an oil and gas pipeline that goes straight to Yunnan province in China. Satellite images from 2021 to 2023 show Chinese Navy submarines and warships visiting regularly. And Coco Island, which we already talked about, has a runway and radar that was completed in 2023. Pearl 3 is Hambantota Port in Sri Lanka. China gave Sri Lanka a $1.4 billion loan. Sri Lanka couldn't pay, so in 2017, Sri Lanka gave the port to China on a 99-year lease. It's the same trick the British used in Hong Kong. Chinese research and spy ships with huge antennas visit every few months. In August 2022, the Yuan Wang 5 spy ship stayed for 7 days, even though India protested. Pearl 4 is Gwadar Port in Pakistan. It's a $62 billion project as part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. It's located just 400 kilometers from the Strait of Hormuz. Chinese Navy warships and submarines are now openly docking here. In March 2025, two Type 039 submarines were seen here. Pearl 5 is Djibouti Base, which is China's first overseas military base. It opened in 2017 and has 3,500 Chinese Marines, tanks, helicopters, and warships. It's right next to US and French bases and controls the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Pearl 6 is Bagamoyo Port in Tanzania, which is a $10 billion project. Pearl 7 is Lamu Port in Kenya, which is funded by China. Pearl 8 is Ream Naval Base in Cambodia, where Chinese money is being used. Satellite images show two 11,000-ton piers that are big enough for aircraft carriers. This entire circle is China's plan to watch India, surround India, and in case of war, choke India from all sides. India is pushing back against China's string of pearls with its own plan called the Necklace of Diamonds. Here's how India is countering China's moves. India's first move is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which is like an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Between 2020 and 2025, India spent over 15,000 crore rupees here. There's a new 3,000-meter runway at Campbell Bay that can handle P-8 I-planes and fighters. The naval base INS Baz has been upgraded, and 4 new landing ships and more submarines are being stationed here. In 2024, India set up a powerful coastal radar chain that can see all the way to Coco Island. India has also made a deal with Indonesia to use Sabang Port, which is at the western entrance of the Malacca Strait. Indian warships and P-8I planes can now refuel and repair here. In the Seychelles, India is building a naval base and a 3,000-meter airstrip on Assumption Island. Work started again in 2024 after a small delay. India has a logistics agreement with Oman, which gives the Indian Navy a dedicated berth at Bukiam Port. In 2024, India stored BrahMos missiles and spare parts here. India has invested $500 million in Chabahar Port in Iran, which is now operational. This port gives India a direct route to Afghanistan and Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan. India has also made deals with Singapore, where Indian aircraft carrier groups and submarines can use Changi Naval Base. The UK and US let India use Diego Garcia, a major military base in the Indian Ocean. For intelligence sharing, France is a key partner for India in the Indian Ocean, with permanent bases on Reunion Island and other territories. India and France do joint patrols and exercises together. Australia is also working with India. And through the Quad and AUKUS, it's getting nuclear submarines to help secure the Indian Ocean. India has set up an information fusion center to track ship movements in the Indian Ocean, and many countries share data here. India is also selling weapons like BrahMos missiles to countries like the Philippines and Armenia, and is talking to others in the region. To counter China's control of the Malacca Strait, India is promoting alternative routes like the Lombok and Sunda Straits, where India has more influence. India is also giving patrol boats, radar stations, and training to countries like the Maldives, Mauritius, and Seychelles, so they don't fall into China's debt trap. In 2024, India hosted the Milan naval exercise with 51 countries, which was the biggest ever, and China wasn't invited. So friends, the score right now, China has money. India has geography, plus friends, plus smart strategy. China is trying to buy the Indian Ocean. India is protecting it without putting anyone in debt. Now tell me in the comments, who do you think
फर्क है
will
दोनों
win
देशों
this?
में। इसी के साथ ये वीडियो
वो
खत्म।
पैसे से हर एक
वो
को गुलाम
खरीदना
बनाना
चाहता
चाहता
है
है,
इंडियन
खरीदना
ओशियन
चाहता
को
है।
और भारत प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहता है। ये
हाँ।
फर्क है दोनों देशों के अंदर।
दोनों के देशों के
किस
अंदर ये
तरह
बात है।
भाई स्ट्रिंग्स ऑफ पर्ल्स की धज्जियां उड़ा दी भारत के नेकलेस ऑफ डायमंड ने।
सही बात है।
मतलब नहीं तो वो
अच्छा,
तो फुल रेडी था भारत को हर तरफ से घेरने के लिए, लेकिन भारत
पाकिस्तान
ने
को
चलाया।
घेरने
हाँ।
की कोशिश की, पाकिस्तान के थ्रू घेरने की कोशिश की,
चाबहार
चाबहार
बना
पोर्ट
दिया।
आ गया,
ओमान आ गया।
ओमान आ गया क्लियर
अच्छा,
उसको काउंटर
वो
करने के
नीचे
लिए।
से वो जिबूती मुबूती के
जिबूती
लिए
को-
मॉरिशस सेशेल्स
हाँ,
लगा दिए।
हाँ।
अंडमान निकोबार कोको के साथ है बिल्कुल।
हाँ, बिल्कुल।
मतलब जब चाहे भारत स्ट्रेट ऑफ मलाका को रोक सकता है, चाइना
और
की
श्रीलंका ऑलरेडी अब जो है ना उसके चंगुल में नहीं
श्रीलंका
रहा।
ऑलरेडी अब भारत के हाथ में
इंडिया
वापस
की
आता आ रहा है।
कूटनीति इतनी है कि वो उल्टा उसको जो है ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर का नुकसान पहुंचाने के दर पे
ये
आ
उसी
गया।
को वाकई नुकसान
उसी को
पहुंचा।
चाइना को देख लो ना क्या हाल हो रहा है।
भाई
जिस जिस देश में
चाइना
से
समझा
प्रोजेक्ट
था
शुरू
कि मैं
किया
इंडिया को इजिली घेर लूंगा, इंडियन
हाँ।
ओशन अपने नाम कर लूंगा, इस तरह नहीं होता।
नहीं होता
ये
भाई।
भारत है। ये भारत वो नहीं है पुराना 62 का भारत, ये नया भारत है।
बिल्कुल।
और ये सीधा जवाब देना जानता है और स्ट्रेटेजी को स्ट्रेटेजी के साथ हराना भी जानता है।
बिल्कुल।
आपकी क्या राय है बताना, अपना बहुत ज्यादा ख्याल रखना तो यार।